Hey, today I wanted to take a look at the fender gap, the wheel well gap on the Tacoma out there. This is after the new lift. And also, how much space did I gain, if any, between the front of the tire and the inner fender? You know, that little rubbing problem I had before? So I actually made a little gauge here before I had the lift done. And you can see here, it's pretty simplistic. I just put this up underneath the front wheel well, if you will, and then stuck it up against the tire level with the fender, the inner fender. And this line denotes where the fender was, or is, I guess, as compared to where it was before. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. Also, we're going to measure the gap, the distance between the top of the tire and the fender, because my wife and I have been talking a little bit, and she's always giving me grief about her Jeep here, right back there, being more capable. Now, Jeep probably, sets the standard for off-road performance, right? But I'm thinking I'm a little more capable now, at least as far as the height goes between the tire and the fender. So we're going to take a look at that too. So let's start here, I guess, in the garage on her Jeep. And I have a tape measure here. And we're just going to measure a little bit. So just from the top of the tire, this is definitely not scientific. You can see it's about a little under 7. Let me get even with it. It's right about 7 inches to the top of that, or to the lip of the fender there, if you will, on the front. So about 7 inches there. And just for kicks, let's take a look at the back. Again, just about in the middle, And that is even less, probably about 6 3/4 or so. So about 7 and 6 3/4. So let's take a look at the Tacoma first. One thing I noticed, it appears to be more level now. I know it's not level, but it appears to be more level now than it was before, as far as the front end goes. Before it had a rake, it actually pointed down in the front. Now it's actually a hair higher, and I don't know if you guys can see that in the video or not, but with the naked eye, it appears to be pretty much level, at least in that shot, I think. But anyway, let's take a look. So we had 7 inches on the Jeep. And let's see where we are here. Yeah, look at that. We're about 8 3/4. So obviously a bit higher on the Tacoma here than her Jeep in the front. And let's go around in the back. And you know this is going to be higher as well, right? Look at that, just about 8 inches. So at least from a fender height standpoint, obviously the Tacoma is superior. I'm not surprised, really. I mean, I tell her the Tacoma is superior all the time, but she doesn't want to hear that. So anyway, just wanted to check that out, just to give her a little ribbing, I guess. Anyway, let's go around to the front. I'm more interested, really, in the gap between the front of the tire and the fender to see if I have a bigger space. So we're going to put my little gauge in there and see if indeed I do. So let's go do that. What I'm talking about is this distance right here between the front of the tire, you can see there, and the back, if you will, of the inner fender or the fender well. And what I had done, all I did was kind of lay this flat right on the bottom of that fender well area there and just slide it up into the tire. That's it. And you can see I drew an outline of it. Wasn't the greatest drawing, but about right there. So if I slide it forward to touch the tire and keep it level against there like I had it before, you guys can see I have gained about 1 inch in clearance or distance between that front tire and the fender well here. And this is where I had my rubbing problem before. So I have even more space now. Again, kind of a crude way to do it, but you can see it is indeed about 1 inch further between my line here and the edge of the fender well. So I did indeed gain some extra space in there. Now, what I should have done, and I didn't, was measure the distance back here, because I believe we're actually a little bit closer back here on the turns. In other words, when the tire turns left to right. Now, one other thing I did want to check, because I have been driving the truck around obviously since the lift, is are there any signs of rubbing back here? And I don't see anything. There's no shiny area, there's no metal rubbed off, nothing rough, nothing crazy like that back there. Same thing here in the front. I don't see any areas where anything is torn up from rubbing or anything like that. Still looks good. So I think, at least in the short term, not too bad. Now, oh, and you can see the spacer right down there. See that nice shiny aluminum spacer? That's the spacer for the bars across the front there. Let's go around to the other side. Curious just to see if we have any evidence of any kind of rubbing back up here, or over here rather. Nothing over here. Looks all nice and dirty, which is what you want to see. If it were clean and shiny, that would mean there was probably a problem. Over here, let's take a look. No, that's just dirt, I think. Yeah, I don't see any evidence. Nothing shiny up here. I mean, it would have to get into the fender well up here before it would ever get in down here. Nothing here on the corners, so that looks pretty good too. Good, good. I am happy with that. So, bottom line is, I've gained a little bit of space there in the front, which is cool. I don't know if it's really enough to keep me far enough away from that tire on severe turns with dips and things like that. There will be another video where I'm actually gonna stick a camera on there, and we're gonna go drive around and see just how close the tire actually gets to that fender well, you know, that inner fender liner, as well as that fascia piece for the front bumper. I'm gonna stick a GoPro on there. We're gonna go cruise around and see just how close it really gets during real driving situations. So that's gonna be interesting to me to see. I'll be very curious to see how close it really is. You can turn the wheel obviously in the driveway both ways, but until you get out and the truck moves around and you hit bumps and turn the wheel and all that kind of stuff, kind of difficult to tell, I guess, how it really is going to perform with that new lift. So I'm pretty happy with it. I like the look of it. I think it came out really well. I think for the money, I see a bird left me a present over there. What the heck? Have to get that off. Anyway, I do. I like the way it looks. I think it came out well. I like the ride now. Everything is pretty darn good. And I like the setup with the wheels and tires and everything on it too. I think it looks pretty good. So anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Is fender well distance really an issue? Does it really matter? I suppose it would only come into play if you were out in the mud, you know, some heavily mudded places. Oh, we have the garbage truck just pulled up out there. Some really heavy, thick mud and stuff where the tires have become caked and then start to build up, if you will, and then might get into the fender wells and stuff like that. I don't foresee any activity where I would be involved in something that bad. Again, I do plan to get off-road, but we're not going to be going through mud pits or anything crazy like that. At least not in the beginning. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Real quick, shameless plug. Don't forget to check out my other channel, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator, right up there. It is called RobMotive. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.